we walked into this game between the Pistons and the Spurs expecting physicality, expecting this big statement matchup. The Pistons pride themselves on being old school. Would they beat up Wemby? And instead, you see the stat line there, 38, 16, and 5, and an absolute butt whooping by San Antonio, who just takes Detroit behind the shed and reminds them that one team is championship caliber and maybe the other team isn't. Like, to me, this was a statement win for San Antonio.
100%. I actually throw it back a couple of days when they had the 90s nostalgia game. You had Bob Costas and Doug Collins and Mike Fratello talking about Wemby, and these are guys who watch Jordan and Bird and Magic in their prime. They were talking about Wemby like he was some kind of natural phenomenon that they had never seen, which basically he is. So the way that he's able to play now, the fact that he's at the peak of his health, the peak of his powers right now, that's good news for San Antonio. That is bad news for everybody else in the league right now. 100% this is a statement win.
Yeah, and I keep going back to San Antonio has been, to a certain degree, some kryptonite for OKC. OKC can't stay healthy. All of these different things. Like, on any given – in a 7-game series, I don't know what teams are going to do to stop this man. Like, when you look at how far back he's shooting right there for a guy that size, there's no way you can close on him. There's just nothing you can do to stop the way that he can attack you. And that to me, over the course of a 7-game series, gets really interesting. I know San Antonio, we had high expectations on this show for Wemby. We had high expectations on this show for San Antonio. As the season gets deeper and deeper, I just keep thinking we're looking at a team that absolutely can win it all this year. Not next year. Like, the Spurs right now this year can hoist the Larry O'B to me.
The fact that they are meeting those expectations, that's the thing. We can pile expectations on every player. We piled them on Wemby before he even took a shot in the league. But the fact that he's hitting those expectations, the fact that he's exceeding them, that's what's impressive.
Yeah, less impressive was the Lakers last night. 3-game winning streak ends with the loss to the Nuggets, 120-113. Stop me if we've heard this before. But also, Doncic picks up his 15th technical foul of the season after, oh my God, breaking news, arguing with the ref. You can tell, to me, Busbee, that Luka's just frustrated, because when he's frustrated and he doesn't know where to channel that, like, they go to therapy, buddy, they call it displacement. The first thing he does is he takes that anger and he throws it at somebody else. I feel like that's what he's doing constantly to the officials. Like, he doesn't like something, he just takes it out on the refs. And now there's going to be consequence to this, because one more and he's suspended for a game.
Right. I mean, if Luka was not able to just knock me down, I would say toughen up, Buttercup. But that's the kind of approach he needs to take. Just not worry about the refs. Focus on the game itself. He can say that he's being treated unfairly, but the way to get treated fairly is just to focus on the game itself and not, as you say, channel your anger and your frustration, justifiable anger and frustration, out on another party. Worst of all, the refs, who can have a material effect on the way the rest of your game goes.
Yeah, look at this quote from McMenamin that's at the press conference. And he said, I heard 3 other players say the exact same sentence, didn't get a tech. That's my problem. I was trying not to talk at all. This is the first thing I said. No warning or nothing. I go back to something very wise that Kenny Rogers said to me, the singer, years and years ago, when he said, everybody says perception is reality, and that's not, you don't go far enough with that. You have to understand that perception is reality because you helped create it and you now live in it. So when he says other players say the same exact sentence, to that I say, hey man, part of growing up and growing older is understanding that whatever voice you've had has created the consequence you now live in. So do those other players have the same history with the officials? Do those other players have the same tone? Anybody that's ever been in a relationship can tell you tone matters, triggers a million arguments, right? Like, so what you say, how you say it, who you say it to, and what you've said before are all part of the equation. And Luka's quote just tells me yet again, he doesn't get it. Like, you don't get warnings anymore at this point because you've already pissed half the league off. Just accepted that, like, where you are right now in the warning system is where you've created. So to me, even the quote shows me that Luka doesn't really get it. And that's the frustrating part, because I think you're looking at one of the best players in the world, obviously. But Busbee, the more we talk about Luka, it's impossible not to talk about this problem over and over and over again, because he won't stop stepping in it.
It's such a fixable problem. This is something that he has 100% total control. You can't control how you shoot in a game because you've got defenders on you. You can control what comes out of your mouth. And this is the kind of thing where he is going to be hurting his team, hurting his effort, hurting his own stat line, all of it. It's all in his control. And that's what he's got to figure out. He's got to come to terms with. It's much more fun believe me, it would be much more fun to blame the refs for all the problems. It's much more fun to blame someone else for all the troubles in your life. But the fact is, it starts with him, and it needs to start immediately if the Lakers are going to get any more than the first round of the playoffs this year.
So speaking of things you can and can't control, Cooper Flagg gets back on the court last night. He can control the outcome. 18 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists, 4 blocks in 26 minutes. Impressive stat line. One thing he may not be able to control is how the Rookie of the Year race goes, though, because last time I checked, Kon Knueppel over here launching the Charlotte Hornets into superstardom categories. So in your mind, can Cooper Flagg sort of find this way back into this race?
Yeah, I mean, the only way that he does it is just by sheer overwhelming numbers. He's not going to turn the Mavs into a contender or a playoff team or anything like that overnight. He's got to do it by numbers. But even that, I'm not sure does enough because Kon has been so exceptional in being a spark plug to this great Charlotte Hornets team, this team that's so much fun to watch. He's kind of riding the wave. He's surfing this Charlotte wave, and I have no idea if there are waves anywhere near Charlotte, but he's riding it right now. I don't think so, but he's riding it right now, and it's great for him and for his own Rookie of the Year chances. And yeah, I mean, Cooper might not be able to close the gap now, but he's got better days ahead of him, but the Rookie of the Year might be out of reach for him.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a water park in Charlotte that has like a wave machine.
That's right.
I feel like the Kon Knueppel portion of this is every bit as significant as the Cooper Flagg portion of it, because what we realistically now have to look at is I think the only way that Kon Knueppel isn't the Rookie of the Year is if his season or Charlotte's season collapses. At this point, there's so much momentum for it, and it's so much greater than what was expected. Right or wrong, sort of what was expected of you becomes part of the line in the sand of how we judge players. So Cooper Flagg could have come in and had the single greatest rookie season we've ever seen of all time, and people would still say, oh, yeah, that's exactly what we expected. The fact that we didn't see this coming from Kon Knueppel, the fact that we didn't see this coming from Charlotte, and I don't think Charlotte's rise is anywhere near done. I think Charlotte's going to end up finding themselves in that top 4 category in the East, and when that happens, and we're looking at the why, when you've got somebody that's already set the three-point rookie record and there's this much season ahead, like Kon Knueppel isn't just setting a record, he's destroying a record. So we have shockingly to many, if we go back in the preseason and ask this question, we've reached a point where I don't think it's just a matter of Cooper Flagg playing well. I think Cooper Flagg would have to be lights out, undeniable for the rest of the season, and Kon Knueppel would have to fall off for the Rookie of the Year to change hands. And that's a statement to how great Kon has been. It's also, though, Jay, to the point you made at the end about Cooper, it's also a reminder that I think what we've got here are at least 2 in this draft, superstars set to genuinely be faces of their team for years to come. Like, one of the encouraging things here isn't just who's going to win Rookie of the Year. One of the encouraging things to me is that we're going to have Flagg v. Knueppel for the foreseeable future, and I think those are going to be epic matchups.
Yeah, Flagg v. Knueppel doesn't roll off the tongue quite like Bird v. Magic, but the potential, and I'm not comparing it in any other way than just saying that the face of the team, the potential to have 2 stars who are entering the league at the same time and continuing forward for a decade or more and trading punches at the top of the league. That's going to be fun to see if they're able to continue this momentum. And signs are from both of them that is possible.
It's going to be an incredible moment to watch. This rookie class, I'll keep echoing it. I think there's a lot of talent in the rookie class we just saw. Not a lot of talent for Golden State, Houston. Golden State has basically you and me playing at this point, but still managed to take down Houston 115, 113. They did lower the rims. That helped us immensely.
Yes,
but they take down Houston. Yeah, I still can't palm the ball. But either way, with that win, how do we feel about the Rockets now? Because it feels like everything is just falling apart for KD in Houston.
Yeah, these are rough days for KD. I mean, KD is always is gaining this, not gaining. He has the rep of a mercenary, of a guy who brings a whole lot of off-court drama onto the court, takes the on-court drama off the court. This is another case of that where they had a winnable game. They had an opportunity to beat a severely depleted Golden State team. They didn't get it done. They took it overtime, but they didn't get it done. And that's the kind of thing that just is so maddening about KD. I mean, he's one of the greatest players of all time, but there's so much that goes along with that, so much you have to accept with that. And every team thinks that they're going to be different. Every team that thinks that they're going to get something out of KD that others haven't, and then they find out that the same troubles kind of follow him from team to team.
As the standings sit right now, they are the 4 seed, essentially tied with Denver. There's some percentage points on it. They're both 9.5 games back. They're the 4 seed. I'd be stunned, honestly, if Houston doesn't end up the 5, maybe even the 6. And I don't think the Lakers are particularly good. It's just Houston is struggled in a West where we see other teams getting better and getting hotter. Again, look at San Antonio, 9-1 in their last 10. Oklahoma City, who's been just beat up, and Minnesota are both 8-2 in their last 10. The top teams in the West are finding their rhythm post All-Star break. The Houston Rockets are not. So I think there's massive, massive concerns for Houston. And this season feels more and more like it's going to be a season lost for KD and the Rockets instead of a season of opportunity. Even in a West that's particularly stacked, I don't include Houston anymore in that same conversation as teams like the Timberwolves, teams like the Nuggets. Houston's going to be left behind when it's all said and done.